Severe thunderstorms, one of Mother Nature's scariest phenomena, can bring damaging winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. Even though the strongest storms are typically found across the Central Plains, known as the traditional tornado alley, Pennsylvania is no stranger from experiencing severe weather events. While less common, every county in the state of Pennsylvania has recorded severe weather, with thousands of reports throughout the spring and summer months. Severe weather can also turn deadly if you are not prepared. The U.S. sees about 48 deaths and thousands of injuries each year from tornadoes. Before tornadoes can develop, we need thunderstorms to form. There are several atmospheric ingredients that have to come together, like baking a cake. These ingredients include instability, moisture, wind shear, and lift.
Convective available potential energy. That's essentially the fuel for thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are these big units of rising air, and there has to be energy for that air to rise.
To get higher amounts of instability, our air mass typically originates from the Gulf of Mexico.
The first of which is to get really humid, moist air mass to advect northward, to lift northward from somewhere to the south. And commonly that's from the Gulf of Mexico, which seems like it's really far away from us here, but over a couple days, air that's over the Gulf of Mexico can move north and east and end up here. And when we have a really hot, humid summer day, that's typically where the air started from.
The Gulf of Mexico is a common supplier of this 2-for-1 special of instability and moisture. However, there is more to the equation for thunderstorms to turn severe.
Wind shear, which is a change in wind speed or direction with height. And essentially wind shear is what allows storms to become organized to last a long period of time. And the longer a storm lasts, the stronger it is, the more likely it is to produce severe weather. To have strong wind shear, you need stronger weather systems. So a lot of times you'll have big areas of low pressure, big cyclones that develop in the center part of the country, maybe east of the Rocky Mountains, and then those move east with time and eventually reach Pennsylvania. And those big, strong cyclones bring with them very strong winds.
Now with instability, moisture, and shear in place, the final aspect that is missing is the trigger mechanism to develop the thunderstorms. Pennsylvania has two unique geographic features, mountains and a big lake.
One of the most common ways that you can get air to rise and produce a thunderstorm is related to the mountains that we have. In Pennsylvania, there's all these narrow ridges, and as air is running into those mountains, it can't go through the mountains, so it's forced to rise up and over them. And if it rises far enough, you can get clouds and thunderstorms. Another common way to get thunderstorms in Pennsylvania is actually related to the Great Lakes. So the northwest side of Pennsylvania, you have Lake Erie, and during a day, the temperature of the lake stays pretty cool, whereas temperature over the land starts to warm up. And that difference between warm air and colder air is called a sea breeze, and that boundary can also force air to rise. You can also have bigger weather systems that move through and bring with them boundaries between warm and colder air on a larger scale, which we call warm fronts and cold fronts.
Severe weather in the Commonwealth follows a predictable climatological pattern, with certain months of the year being more prone to these intense storms.
The most common period for severe weather ranges from probably April, certainly May, all the way through maybe August into September. And a lot of the notable tornado outbreaks, tornado events, and severe thunderstorm events in this region happen in the months of May, June, July.
While it's important to be aware of the peak severe weather season, it's also crucial to stay prepared year-round, as severe weather can occur at any time of the year if the setup is right.
So it certainly is possible to get severe weather in any season in Pennsylvania. It's certainly rare, but you can have strong lines of thunderstorms move through in the winter seasons, especially as can be some really strong weather systems that time of year.
In order to be prepared ahead of severe weather days, it is important to find a trusted source to gather weather information. This will keep you informed ahead of time and send out alerts when severe weather is imminent.
That might be a local broadcast meteorologist. That might be someone on your social media feed that is trustworthy, conveying accurate weather information, and rely on those sources. I think it's always a good tip to have some sort of weather app on your phone. that can give you notifications.
While severe weather may seem scary, knowing what to do before severe weather strikes can protect your life.
When there's severe weather, a good rule of thumb is always to get as far away from the outside as you can. So if you're in a house, that will pretty much always mean the lowest floor of your building. If you have a basement, that's perfect. If not, first floor. And then maybe in an interior closet or bathroom. Whatever puts you as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
If you are caught in severe weather while driving, there are also helpful tips to remain safe.
That might mean get off the next exit on the highway and get into a gas station or a convenience store or something like that. Because you really don't want to be caught in a car in big hail or strong winds or a tornado, any of the big severe weather hazards.
Severe thunderstorms are a rather complicated meteorological phenomenon with many ingredients that fall into place ahead of an event. It is important to know that severe weather can happen here in Pennsylvania despite us being thousands of miles away from Tornado Alley. Localized tornado outbreaks and long-lived windstorms can cause damages to life, property, and put your safety at risk. Staying weather aware ahead of severe weather days and having a safety plan in place is your best bet to stay as safe as possible. For Weather World, I'm student meteorologist Denys Khrulov.